In this video, I'm going to continue talking about the WKB approximation, but in this one we will be looking at the non-classical region. And so that is when our potential is greater than our energy, or the energy of our particle. And so, we call this the non-classical region because in classically thinking, if you have a potential like this and you have some object inside of it and it has a certain energy, if you don't have enough energy to get over the potential, then it's not going to do that. It's going to remain confined within the potential. But we know that in quantum mechanics, so we have the wave function like this, and so it can actually be non-zero here at the potential, if the potential is not infinite. But then it tunnels, and so we know that it decays outside, but it can actually tunnel through here. And so, say we had another well right here, you could actually then end up having the particle sort of tunnel into that other potential well, and so that is the quantum tunneling. And so that's why this is called the non-classical region, because it is actually existing in some sense here where the energy is not enough to get over the potential. So recall that when we have the potential greater than the energy of the particle, we have a solution to the wave function that looks like this. And so this does not have the imaginary component up there in the exponential, and so it's either an exponential growth or an exponential decay. And so we know just from this little illustration here that what we're interested in the most is this exponential decay solution, and so that's when this is negative right here. And so our kappa, remember here, is equal to this square root of 2m times our potential minus energy all over the h bar here. So if we do essentially the same process that we did in the previous video, we end up with the energy being negative, which is why we are putting it second up here in this expression up there. And so the momentum is negative, which means that we get this right here. So we have this negative, and we can pull it out and just do the absolute value of the momentum right there. So taking the square root of all of this, so we're taking the square root of this entire thing, and that gives us this I out here. So we end up with this imaginary part right here, which means that our phi here, our phase here, is equal to this integral right here with this plus or negative, and then we have this I right here. And so when we put that into our exponential here, which has this I right here, we now have this I times this I here, which will sort of change this plus minus into a minus plus right there. So the exponential is real, and so we end up with this right here as our solution, sort of in the same form that we got last time, going through that same process that we did in the previous video. And so we have a general solution that looks like this. So we have this negative and this positive exponential right here. So say we have a potential with a bumpy top that looks like this, and the potential here is greater than our energy down here. Then when we have a particle coming in, so this particle A coming in, it can either get scattered or reflected like this, or it can transmit through like this. So we have this scattering here, or we have this transmission through our potential. And so when we are less than zero, so that's sort of over here, we have this A and this B here. So the A is sort of moving to the right, and the B is moving to the left. And so that's why we have the positive and negative here. Then the F here is our transmission, so that's when X greater than A. And so we have this F and then this E to the I, K, X. And so it's moving to the right there. And then so where the x is greater than 0 and less than a, we have a solution that looks like this. So this is just the same solution that we got right here. So we have the solution that looks like this, where the first term is an increasing potential. Well, actually, I have that switched around. This is the increasing potential, and this is the decreasing potential. So this right here is our exponential decay. I have that switched around for what I have in the words here. So this is the exponential decay. This is the exponential growth right here. So if our potential is a lot greater than the energy of our particle, or if the sort of width here of this potential is much greater than our wavelength here, then we have that the exponential growth here is equal to 0, because transmission will be very unlikely. So the probability of transmission is our f squared, which is the transmitted particle up here, over a squared, which is this incident particle right here. So this is determined by the decrease in the potential, which is what we have right here. So this is our exponential decay. And so we have that the f over a here is approximately equal to this exponential decay. And so this gives us the squared of the transmitted over squared of the incident is equal to t, which is approximately equal to this e to the minus 2 gamma, where gamma is just our integral right here. So this means that the relative amplitude of the incident wave A and the transmitted wave F is determined by the decrease in the exponential over the non-classical region. And so we can think about it like this. So we have our incident particle here and our transmitted particle here. And so the ratio here of our transmitted to incident is going to be equal to this exponential decay right here. And so the decay that we have right here sort of determines sort of the amplitude of our transmitted particle here. And so we have the amplitude of the transmitted particle here and the amplitude of our incident particle here. And so the ratio of that is our transmission here. And so that is determined, like I said, by this right here, by the exponential decay of our wave function here as we go through this potential right here, this sort of potential bump right here, starting from 0 to a. But anyway, that is sort of what we have here for the non-classical region for our wave function. And so, like I said in the previous video, so we're going to have a potential, that will be something that looks like this, and our energy will be, sort of right there. And so we will have a wave function that will look, sort of like this. And so we have where the energy here and the potential sort of run into each other. And so that is where we're going to be interested in what's going on with the wave function there. So we've gotten the non-classical solutions here, and we've gotten the classical solution here in the previous video. But in the next video, we're going to have to discuss these what they call these turning points here, and so that we will have to sort of patch together this non-classical solution and the classical solution from the previous video in order to get what the behavior of the wave function is at those turning points. So that will be the topic of the next video. But anyway, I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next one.